everyone. So if you were on my Facebook, or if you talked to me and my mom, or if you are anyway involved in the trip that I just got back from, you know that I posted a blog a couple days before I left, and I was supposed to post every day and keep you guys updated on what was going on, what was happening on the trip, and that failed epically. I did not blog. I thought I would have a lot more time than I did, and I didn't. Our days were from 7 a.m. till sometimes later than 11 p.m. and it didn't work out. So I was not able to blog, and when I got back I was going to just post one big blog post about everything that happened, but I didn't think that that would be detailed enough or that a lot of people would read a blog that long. So I thought it would be a lot easier to just watch a video of me talking about the conference, and it would be a lot easier for me to explain everything and go into detail about what happened. So here's my vlog. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that it informs you on how awesome the week was and just what a great time I had. So the first thing that I would really love to discuss is our color groups. A couple days before we left, we got an email assigning us to a color group, and the color that I got was purple. So when we got there, we got to meet our color group advisors, and then we got to meet our actual color group, which was about 22 other people in the conference. So here's to you guys: Adjua, Alex, Brett, Cami, Danielle, Grace, Hannah, Jake, James, Julie, Kate, Lisha, Madison, Maggie, Maya, Robert, Victoria, William, Sabrina. You guys were phenomenal. You made the week unforgettable. You made it fun. You made it less awkward. I know that the memories that we made they're gonna last forever. They're just gonna be something that I never want to forget. I'm really bad at putting things into words sometimes, but you guys were just so much fun to be around. I'm glad that we all had the same mindset when we were there, and I love you guys, and I miss you guys, and I hope that it's not forever until I see you again. And to my color group advisors, Angelica and Jessica, you guys were phenomenal leaders. You kept us on task, and you kept us organized, and you kept us on time, and you also left an impression on me that I will keep forever, and I hope that I also get to see you guys soon and that it's not forever. So you guys are awesome, and I miss you. So thank you for making the week so impactful. The next thing on my agenda to talk about would probably be the first night. So we flew in on Sunday, and we got to drop our bags off and meet our color group advisors and everything, and then we got ready for dinner on campus. So we got dressed and we got to dinner, and we all kind of sat at round tables, and it was a little bit awkward because we didn't know anybody, and we were just trying to create conversation to get to know everybody a little bit better. After we were done eating, we had our very first speaker. Her name was Wjmc, and she was awesome. She talked about a lot of things in the world of journalism, but she knew her audience, and she kept it directed towards young people, how we would be able to succeed in everything that we did, even if it wasn't journalism. And she was just so amazing, and I loved her speech a lot. I guess I should tell you what Wjmc is. She is the Global Chief Communications Officer for Bitfury, and she used to work as the press secretary, I believe, or assistant press secretary for the White House. And just to be around someone that had such an amazing job and loved it was so awesome. I hope you guys can hear me because it's raining really hard on my house right now. So I guess we'll figure out what that sounds like after I go back and edit the video. So after we heard from Wjmc on the first night, we broke off into our color groups. So Group Purple, that was the first time that we got to, I guess, kind of get to know a little bit more about each other and interact with each other a little bit more. We played an icebreaker that I thought was ridiculous because I get uncomfortable very easily. But it helped a lot to get to know each other and remember everybody's name. And then we went up to a classroom and with just our color group, and we did exercises, and it was, I think that was the beginning of what really bonded us as a group, and it was a lot of fun. Probably a little bit annoying because it was really late at night and a lot of us had flown and been in airports all day, but it was definitely a lot of fun. I'm reading day by day by the itinerary so that I don't leave anything out, because it was something that I never want to forget. So yes, this video is for you guys to kind of understand what was going on during the week, but it's also for me so that I can truly remember this experience for a while. So the next morning we were up we had to be down at breakfast by 7. So for those of us like me that take forever to get ready, we were up at 5 or 5:30, which was really early considering we went to bed at like midnight. After we ate breakfast, we all met downstairs with our color group and we got on the bus to go to the museum. The museum was probably one of my favorite places because there was so much to see. For those of you that don't really know what the museum is, like I didn't really know what it was, huge building, that's a museum obviously, dedicated to journalists and reporters from all around the world. And I honestly I didn't go in with any specific expectations. I just knew that I was excited and this was really cool. We went floor by floor and you were just kind of mesmerized by everything. There were like exhibits dedicated to reporters that have died while they were reporting. They died in the line of duty, so to speak. Even though they aren't really soldiers, it's still very sacrificial to put yourself in the middle of a war zone or in a very, very dangerous situation so that you can report the news to people back home that have no idea what's going on. And it's really important that everybody knows what's going on in the world, and people really truly put themselves in danger. That never really sunk in until I was there and I saw this memorial of pictures of people that have died. Another thing that stuck with me was the exhibit for 9/11. What it was this wall, like this huge wall, I think I have a picture of it, and it was just covered in front page papers from all over the world reporting on 9/11 because it was so devastating. And it was here, it was home, and papers, reporters from halfway across the world were reporting it because of how devastating it was. And it just showed me that the written word, people that wanted to get the truth out to people, that's what brings us together. And I'm not sure if that makes a lot of sense, saying it out loud. It makes sense in my head, probably not to you, but it was just something that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Another thing that we saw in the museum, kind of I think when we first walked in, was this map of the world, and it was color-coded, and I have a picture of that as well. One color was depicting where in the world people had freedom of press, complete freedom of press. Another color was showing where they had partial freedom. They might be able to report what they wanted, but probably not, you never know. And the third color showed where people had no freedom of press. They couldn't report what they wanted. They probably had to report what the government told them to. So you never really know what you're reading. And that's just, I think that's something that we take for granted, definitely here in America, because we have complete freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. And I know we hear that all the time, like, oh my gosh, we take it for granted, but that specific moment is when it sunk in for me, because I'm obviously on a lot of social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you read a lot of slander and you read a lot of hate, and specifically right now towards our president, towards people in our government. And I don't think you realize what, this is going to sound very weird, but what a privilege it is to go on there and talk bad about your president, because in a lot of other countries you could be killed for that. And it's something that you should probably sit back and think about before you post. Aside from that little spiel, the museum was amazing. It was probably one of my favorite places, and if I ever get the chance to go back to DC, that's the first place I'm going, because I don't think I had enough time. to experience everything. It was really cool. So the next place we went was to a building, the Mason Arlington building, I guess, to hear the speaker Eric Felton. And my group had a lot of inside jokes about him because his speech wasn't necessarily colorful. It wasn't really fun to listen to. You didn't get much out of it, but he did mention that he was a jazz musician, and then we found him on Spotify. So if you get the chance and you like jazz, specifically trombone, listen to Eric Felton on Spotify. Maybe you'll like him. I don't know. So then we had dinner at Gordon Bursch, which was really good. We all kind of sat separately from each other because, you know, there's 300 of us, and we took over the whole restaurant at these little tiny tables. And I sat with Maya and Alex and Madison and Sabrina. And that was probably the first of many bonding experiences. We laughed a lot. We told each other a lot. It was a lot of fun. So I miss you guys a lot, thinking about that now. So if you're watching this, just know that I miss you. And that was probably one of my favorite memories, with all of the jokes that you guys made, because you guys are hilarious. After dinner, we went to the White House, the back of the White House, so that we could all get a group picture at the White House. And we were there for maybe like 5 minutes before they had to shut the whole street down. And our group advisors were like, don't worry, it happens all the time. It's DC, you know, it could literally be anything. So we were like, okay. So we left. And then later, I think it was the next day, I found out that they shut the street down because Donald Trump wanted to ride in a fire truck. So, of course, we were a little bit salty about that, like, seriously, but then we're like, okay, he's the president, I guess he can do that. After the White House, we went on the Twilight Monument tour, and that was a lot of fun. We went to the World War II monument and the Lincoln Memorial, and we could see the Washington Monument, Washington Memorial. That I kept calling the Pentagon, and everybody was like, Micaiah, that's not the Pentagon. I was like, I know it's not, but it looks like a Pentagon, even though it doesn't. I don't know where that came from. I obviously need to go back to school. Summer's been way too long. But anyway, we got back pretty late after the monuments. I think it was like 11 maybe, and we were all, we had to do security checks for our dorms. By the way, side note, my dorm mates, if you guys are watching this, you are awesome, and I miss you, and it was fun sharing a bathroom with you. You guys made the week really, really fun, and I miss you guys a lot. Okay, so the next day, Tuesday. Tuesday's a pretty long day. If you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but on the itinerary, it goes from like here to here. So, hopefully I won't talk too long about Tuesday. Again, we had to be up pretty early. We had to be at breakfast by 7, so of course I was up at 5. I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you know me that it takes me forever to get ready. And then I don't know where we went, but we got on a bus to go hear a speaker, Susan Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of National Geographic, and her speech was amazing. And of course, being a photographer, I'm like, oh my god, I want to be a photographer for National Geographic. And I was like mesmerized by, oh my god, this is the editor-in-chief of National Geographic. And she was really fun. She's actually the first female editor-in-chief of National Geographic. And she was very awe-inspiring, kind of someone to look up to. She showed us a lot of National Geographic videos and kind of talked about what they were about, and it was a lot of fun. I liked her speech a lot. So the next place we went was the National Press Club, and the first speaker we heard there was Brian Lamb, who is the founder and executive chairman of C-SPAN. I had no idea what C-SPAN was before I got there, but now I know that it's a pretty prominent political news channel, I guess. Clearly, I still don't fully understand what it is, but I'm sure a lot of you do. But Brian Lamb's speech was a lot of fun. He is very engaging. He talked to a lot of people in the crowd. He brought them up and had them debate each other, had them interview each other. And I have never in my life seen so many young people get so politically charged at one another. I was like, oh my lord, I probably should have came up here a little bit more educated, because when it comes to politics, I know close to nothing. I'm getting there, I'm learning, but I know very little. My personal favorites are Terry and Sulame Anderson. And if you follow me on Instagram, if you like me, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you saw my picture posted with them. And of course, I was totally fangirling. I was like, oh my God. I read their books, and their books are phenomenal. And if you don't know, and if you didn't look it up, Terry Anderson was a hostage in the Middle. He was a reporter, and he was a hostage in the Middle East for 7 years. And for those 7 years, his daughter was born and lived without her dad. So I read their books before I went, and I mentioned to my color group advisor, Jess, I said, would there be any possible way that I could meet them? I would totally freak out. And she was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, what? So she talked to Elena, our program director, and a couple of other people too, I guess, had their books, so we all got to go back there and meet them, and they signed my books, and I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out right now, like, this is so cool. After that, Jess was like, so how'd you like fangirling over Terry Anderson? And I was like, oh my God, it was so cool. So beyond my obsession with them, their speech was very, very, very good. It was about how to kind of succeed as a reporter, but not only how to succeed as a reporter, but how to put yourself in positions to become the best reporter that you can be. One of my favorite quotes from their speech was from Terry. I don't remember if it was from Terry Anderson or Sulame Anderson because I didn't write who said it. I probably should. But one of them said, you cannot have a free society without a free press. So if you get the chance, or if you want to, please read Terry and Sulame Anderson's story. You won't regret it. So our next speaker was Mike Shear, and he was really, really fun. We asked him a lot of questions, which this is kind of random, but it was really cool to be able to ask people that prominent in their, in their professions, to be able to talk to them and ask them questions, and they would answer us and talk back, and it was really, really fun. But anyway, Mike Shear was, he's the White House correspondent for the New York Times, and he had a lot of really awesome things to say, a lot of stories to tell, a lot of videos to show, and his speech was a lot of fun to listen to and watch, because people asked him some really funny questions that he always had an answer to. After that, at 9 o'clock that night, we had our second color group meeting with our color groups, which was another fun time of just bonding and talking about what we learned that day and who our favorite speakers were and why, and what we would take back to school with us from what we learned that day. And I remember a lot of the students in my color group at their schools, they had newspapers and they had broadcast channels, and there was a lot going on, like, in the reporting world at their school. And at my school, personally, we don't have that. So I, mentioned, I was like, it would be so cool to be able to go back to my school and take all of this with me and be like, listen, this is what I learned. I think it would be cool to do here. So hopefully, fingers crossed, my senior year at my school will have a lot more reporting and broadcasting involved. The next morning, again, up at 5, breakfast at 7. We had another color group meeting and went over the rundown for a simulation that we were doing that morning. And basically, it's kind of hard to explain if you weren't there, but 2 or 3 people from each color group would join 2 or 3 people from every other color group. So in the end, I think there was like 10 color groups altogether, so you had like 20 people in each group that you didn't know, and you were all representing a newspaper or a news channel. Like, some people got BuzzFeed, the New York Times, Huffington Post. The girl that I was with, Lisha, who was awesome and funny, and I'm really glad that I got to be with her for that simulation. We got WJLA, which is a local news channel in D.C., and we got a bunch of papers, and we had to look through them and basically create a broadcast, like a 2-minute news spiel, the way that news channel would report it, which was really cool because, I mean, if you're working in journalism, you might not always get the job that you want to get. You might just have to get a job to survive. And if you're biased towards the Republican Party and you're working for a Democrat channel, you can't really report like a Republican on a Democrat channel. So it was, our specific channel was very conservative. So we had to take all of the news that we just had and turn it into a conservative point of view, which was really awesome. And Lisha was really good at it because she does that at her school. She's, I think, the senior anchor for her broadcast channel. So I miss you, Lisha. You were so much fun. And then there was a panel with people, with group advisors from Wjmc, and our personal faculty advisor, Jess, she was on the panel, and we cheered really loud for her because she's super awesome. And people asked questions, and they just talked about, you know, life, like what happens after the conference, which was fun. And then we had another speaker who was a photojournalist. Her name was Dana Smith. A lot of people didn't really love her speech just because she was kind of quiet, laid back, wasn't as interactive, but I personally loved it because she has been a photojournalist probably for years, and she's been in war zones, she's been in third world countries, she's done everything. She's taken pictures for the president, she's been in pictures with the president. She was just so much fun to listen to and listen to her life experiences, and her pictures were awesome. So she was probably one of my favorites just because it was cool to see how well a fellow photographer succeeded by putting herself out there. That's a personal problem that I have, is putting myself out there to take pictures. I don't really put myself in situations to take pictures. I just kind of wait and see if somebody needs me to, but I think that's something that I'm definitely going to work on, is putting myself in position to get the pictures that I need to get or should get, or it would be cool if I got. So Dana Smith was really awesome. And then we had a breakout session, which was our career exploration session. And we got to choose, there was like a list of speakers, really long list of speakers, and we got to choose who we wanted to go with. The guy that I chose was Mark Hobson, Assistant Professor, Department of Communications at George Mason University. And it was really cool because it was like being in a classroom, and he just kind of talked to us like he would his class about communications, and we all got to have civil conversations about our different political views, or really just our different world views. It was really awesome hearing people's my age views on the world and why they viewed the world that way, because I think a lot of us are closed-minded because we see the world one way and everybody else around us sees the world the same way. So that's just like where our mind is. But there's people from all over the country, and they're telling you their life experiences and why their life experiences affected the way they viewed the world. And it was really awesome to be able to sit in that room and just listen to people talk. And then Thursday, again, up early, breakfast. And then we went to Capitol Hill, and we got a really awesome big group picture of all 300 of us right in front of the Capitol. And then we got to break off and either tour the Holocaust Museum, tour the Capitol, and the Smithsonian. So if you chose the Capitol and the Smithsonian, that's what you did, but if you chose the Holocaust, you had to go to the Holocaust. So it was kind of a hard decision because I was like, I really want to go to the Holocaust Museum, but I also want to be at the Capitol and go to the Smithsonian. So I actually decided to go to the Holocaust Museum with, I think, a couple other people from my group. We took a bus from the Capitol building to the Holocaust Memorial Museum. The way it works, if you haven't been, is you take an elevator all the way up to the 6th floor, and you kind of walk your way down like it's a corkscrew. You go around, and it takes you from the beginning of the Holocaust to the end of the Holocaust. And I have never been on such an emotional roller coaster in a museum. I was walking with my friend Madison that I met on the trip, and we were both just kind of quiet the whole time because it's just, honestly, it just leaves you speechless. I don't even know how to describe it, but there's pictures everywhere of people that died, and there's exhibits of ways they used to see if your eyes were the right color, your hair was the right color, your face was the right structure, and if it wasn't, then you were out of luck. And it it was just heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, and I don't regret not going to the Smithsonian. I don't regret not going to the Capitol building. And one of the floors that we went on, there was a hallway probably about 4 people wide, and there was glass on each side of the hallway, and it kept going, and the glass was just filled probably up to my thighs with shoes, with leather shoes. I remember a history teacher telling me about this room, Mr. Vetter in 8th grade. He had been on the DC trip that people went on in 8th grade, and he said that it's just silent in that room, and before you get to the room, you can smell the shoes. And for those of you that don't really know what it is, it's a collection of shoes from the bodies that they burned in the mass burnings, and the only thing that survives were the shoes. And there was a quote on the wall that I didn't read actually until after I took the picture and after I was out of the room, and it brought tears to my eyes after I read it, and it was just, I'm glad that I went, even though I cried. Basically is the best way that I can put it. My camera battery is dying, so I have to hurry up and try to get through the rest of Thursday and Friday really fast. But after that, we went back to the dorms and we got ready for the gala, which was the last night. Everybody was so excited for the gala because you got to dress up and just have fun, and it was so much fun. Oh my goodness. We took pictures, we danced. I have never danced at a school, at like homecoming prom. I've never danced, but I danced at the gala, and it really just made me realize that I was gonna miss these people after I got home, and I do. I miss you guys so much. You made it so much fun, and thanks for making the gala so much fun. But it was a really great last hurrah of the week ending. And then Friday, of course, was departure day. And I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, but at the beginning of the week, our junior faculty advisor, Angelica, she said, you guys are really awkward right now. You're probably like looking at everybody like, who in the world are these people? And you know, when is this week going to be over? But by the end of the week, you're going to cry that you have to, because you have to leave these people. And we're all kind of just like, yeah, okay, I doubt that. It's, 4 or 5 days of, hanging out with people I don't know. I doubt that I'll cry. But by the end of the week, on Friday, we're all hugging each other in tears, like, I can't believe that I have to leave you. I can't believe I got this close to you. And it's just, I still miss you guys so much. To close out the video, I just really want to tell you guys what exactly I got out of this trip. As the week was going on, it was more geared towards journalism, and as much as I do like to write, and as much as I love reading, I didn't really think journalism was for me. But as the week went on, I realized that there's a lot of people across the world that don't get to read the truth. They don't get to see the truth. And I would love to be a part of that, even if it wasn't necessarily writing, even if it was just taking pictures and filming. I would love to be able to document what's going on in the world, what's going on in the country and my state, and share it with people. So this week was phenomenal, unforgettable. I'm so glad that I went. And for all of you guys that made it possible, for all of you guys that donated and prayed and sent me off to DC, I want to say a huge heartfelt thank you. Thank you so much for this experience. I don't know how I'll ever be able to repay you. Hopefully this video shows you how impactful the trip was for me. So thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you for watching this video. Yeah, thank you guys. I love you guys.